Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are today talking about budgeting and getting a business started and lining up your work and estimating so you can come up with a business plan. Looking forward to a couple of hours of working for you and with you. My name is Steve Carver. I'm located in Dunn, North Carolina, where I'm talking to you from my home office and/or studio. And this is my presentation number 1106, and I want to welcome you to my journey into entrepreneurship, and thank you for letting me join you as you go along as well. So up front, let me tell you, I'm not a lawyer or a tax attorney or a professional accountant or anything like that. I'm a fellow that's been in business for 64 years, still very much in business today. I've worked with customers all over the country already this morning. I sell farm equipment and implements to them and have for a long time. So all those years I've learned a lot, and I'm glad to share with you my strategies that have worked, and also I'll try to help lead you away from pitfalls that may get you in trouble. First advice is always get a second opinion before you make a major decision. And a really good place to get those second opinions is from your small business center, especially the one in Lenoir County in Kinston, where you'll find our host, Mr. Greg Hannibal, and his phone number there. If you'd like to make an appointment, is 252-522-8021. No charge. Greg will work for you and do a very great job, and the state's paying the bill, so take advantage of that. Also, his email is listed on your screen if you'd like to send an email, ask questions, or whatever. He's there to serve and does a wonderful, wonderful job. There's a good-looking guy. Glad to have him on board. Maybe he'll talk to us a little bit later on today. He does have a request, and that is after our webinar is over, you'll get an email that's asked you to evaluate everything. Please take time to answer that. And of course, I like for you to say that you gave us an excellent report, but ever what it is, it'll be. So fill that survey out. It won't take but just a minute, and it really helps all the small business center directors to keep up with their records and bring to you better webinars year after year. Let me tell you that today we're going to be talking about budgeting and getting your business starting and planning for it. If you'd like to pursue more webinars that I'm teaching, you're always going to be welcome. And tomorrow night from 6 to 8, I'll be talking about cash flow in your business and funding and finance forms and things like that. And then for the next 4 Thursday nights, we'll be on board with different subjects as listed here. We'll be starting a new, what we call Academy series, a 6-function series of webinars that cover pretty much all the basics in getting your business started. I'll send you a list and a reminder and invite you to join any of my webinars. You're always welcome, always free. And you can just save your login information from today. I always use the same login information. Greg or I will be sending you some study guides, about 6 of them. One is kind of an outline of our presentation today, and then some other really good information that should help you in your business planning, and also a little sample of how to do a starter a calendar, 6 months calendar to get started. My job, as I like to instruct myself, is to be assertive. Assertive leads to motivating other folks to hopefully in a positive way to go to the next step in your business planning. And I want to encourage you to do that. Forgive me if I seem like I'm stepping on your toes or maybe pushing too hard, but we all know that sometimes some folks just need a little extra effort and encouragement to get moving, because we all tend to procrastinate from time to time. So I'll be filling that role with a smile on my face. But your job in starting your business and staying in business is to find the endurance to stay in the game. Because in entrepreneurship, it's all about staying in it long enough to learn how to do it good, to learn how to do it profitably, and to learn how to have a sustainable business. So let's kind of get into it right now. I want to give you a few hints and tips up front before we get into budgeting and planning. To have staying power in your business, to have a business that makes it year after year, month after month, there's something that will have a major impact on that. So Paisley, I appreciate you being with us, still being in high school and just getting started. Take note on what I'm saying here. There's two kinds of things that people buy. They buy the things they want, and they buy the things they really need. There's a lot of difference. They're going to buy those things they really need, whether the economy is good or bad. No matter else what's going on, if they need it, they're going to find a way to buy it. Things they want are impulse items. Things that today, if it feels real good to me today, I think I want to buy this, or man, that looks good, I don't buy it now. So if you in your business have multiple things that you're selling, and I'll be referring to them as profit centers, you want to have a good, diverse mix of items that people will probably want, and a good, diverse mix of things that maybe they really need. When you have that, you're going to have a good basis for a continuous business. But if you just have one thing, then it's going to be difficult to do that. So look at what you're offering your customers and try to remember this. It'll really help your business be more sustainable. Started out as a resolution this year in my work into trying to every week that I'm online is to come up with a new word that I can share with my classes and ask them to consider it that I know has an impact for entrepreneurs. The first week started on January 11th with my new season. First week, the word is shrewd. Shrewd is a cool word. Some people think of it as a negative, but it's not, because shrewdness is just being smart and being savvy, clever, brilliant, intelligent. And if you're shrewd about your business and you're shrewd about knowing what you need to know with your product information and what makes it tick, then you're going to have a better chance of being successful as an entrepreneur. So shrewdness is a thing that we all really want and we should try to be better at. Mindfulness we came up with in the second week. Mindfulness, which I hadn't used the word a lot until this year, but I think it's a really important, powerful word. Mindfulness is having the ability to stay aware and to really be able to focus and stay in attention and to maintain a perception of where you want to go. Sometimes we all just kind of get into, I'm just going to drift through the day and take whatever comes my way. Being mindfulness is not that. Being mindfulness is staying aware and really trying to stay focused on what you need to do. Third week, assertiveness. As I've already mentioned, assertiveness is being willing to motivate others. But to be assertive, you need to be aggressive, and also be self-assured that you're doing the right thing. But in business, we have to motivate ourselves. We have to motivate our customers, our suppliers. So be willing to be assertive. Not necessarily to push people where they don't want to go, or to be hateful, or just too aggressive, but being assertive and pushing yourself and the people and the things that you're doing in the right direction, and be willing to keep that pressure on. It too will give you a sense of self-satisfaction and improve your self-assuredness. Fourth word for the fourth week was endurance, and I've already used that today. The ability to sustain a prolonged, stressful effort or activity. And entrepreneurship is going to be prolonged, and sometimes it's going to be stressful, and it's always going to require your attention to keep the ball rolling, to stay in the game, to keep it going and learn as much as you can, learning the other words that we've been talking about. Now we enter our 5th week of classes, and the word this week is going to be resilience. Staying and maintaining your ability to bounce back from challenges and to bounce back from setbacks. Excuse me. Starting a small business will bring to you a lot of folks who say no. Trying to make your first sales, folks are not going to just automatically start giving you business. And we don't need to maintain the resilience to stay positive and keep the energy level up to make it happen. To recover after you've been knocked down, to get up. To see maybe that your business plan is not going the right way, and resilience to teach you how to adjust it and to be willing to adjust it and to make it as easy as you possibly can. And when you see things just fall apart, is being able to bring it back together, to come back together with customers that maybe you didn't sell the first time, but you'll keep trying to sell the second, third, fourth, ninth time. Come back together, resilience, and keep that working for you. Put these 5 words into play in your game every day, and let's see if it doesn't bring some positive things in your direction. Be resilient. Excuse me. My voice is giving me a little time here. Working with entrepreneurs just getting started, many times folks just want to sit up in the stands and be a spectator. And with the Super Bowl week coming up pretty soon, we're all going to be spectators. They like the game, I certainly do, and I love these 2 teams that are playing. But my objective in business is to be a player, not someone that's looking. So we got Essence just joined us. In Essence, I want you to be a player, to get in the game. Danita, let's get out there and make things happen. Being a player will give you the chance to actually feel and enjoy the rewards of your efforts, and we want to go that way. Our topic today, and probably why y'all signed on, was to see what we'd have to say about learning more about budgeting a startup business. And today we're going to jump right into that with showing you how to do a budget using the estimates that maybe you think your business will do with the items that you're going to have expenses for, and estimating the amount of income that you're going to need to pay those expenses and to earn back your startup money and to make some profit. And so let's get right into that. What's it going to take to make it happen? There's basically 5 steps into writing a business planner that's going to give you sustainability. And creating an idea and having an idea where you're going with your startup budget is the beginning of that. But the reason we're doing a budget is so that we can structure a business plan and understand how many profit centers that we're going to need to make the money, and understanding how much money possibly we're going to have left at the end of the day. And generally we talk in terms of a 6-month planner, but the 5 steps is what is the budget, what is your business budget and business plan? Why do we want to have it? We're going to need a planner that gives us some timeline goals so we can mark our progress as we go along, as we go past milepost after milepost. We want to understand the individual types of expenses and individual types of income that we're going to have so we can build a business plan. And then we're going to do this by using models And when we can connect our models, our income models on one side of the ledger and our expense models on the other, basically you're going to start building a real business plan as you build your budget at the same time. So why do we want to have this plan? First of all, we need the information in advance as much as we can get before we start taking the actual risk with our time and our talents and our money. It's a lot better to do some real good guessing, because a weak plan is better than no plan at all, but we're after a good plan. And you want to have a good idea before you make those investments that they're going to be safe. And it's even best if we have a document that we can adjust and make amendments to as we go along. But it's all about trying to help avoid unexpected pitfalls and expenses. So we're going to forecast and look into the future as best we can, the different types of expenses we're going to have, and match those up with the different types of income we're going to have and move forward. The whole purpose that we're talking about this is so that at the end of the day, we'll have a good idea on what's left. Are we going to have some money left, or are we still going to be in the hole? If we have some money left, that's black ink. If we're in the hole, that's red ink. And I will assure you, as you're first doing these plans and budgets, you will see more red ink than you do black ink, because you're just not into it, and we're guessing on everything we write down is pretty much a guess or an estimate. Just a little side interest here. Lots of times the folks that are coming to our webinars are folks that already have a job, already have an income, and what you're thinking about starting in today's world is people call them side hustles. So let me ask you, if you don't mind, to we'll use our chat button here to do some chatting as we go to get some feedback, and everybody can see what other folks are doing. How about going to your chat button and tell me if the business that you're thinking about starting or that you're into is a full-time job for you, or is it going to be a side hustle or a part-time? How about just going to your chat button and just typing in full or part-time, either way. There you go. Thank you for the information, Kristen. Everybody go to your chat button and get ready to type that in. And I may have some more questions as we go along. But if you're doing a side hustle, that kind of takes a lot of pressure off of you, because you've already got an established type budget to base your everyday expenses on, and so you don't feel like you're taking quite as much risk as if you're starting a standalone business. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't want you to do standalone businesses, because I do want you to do it when you're ready. But a standalone business, a full-time business for you, is going to require a more intensive planning, a more serious business plan. So that's one reason that we like to talk about it. And if the side hustle or part-time business may not be your whole business plan, but it just may be what you're thinking about doing now as a side hustle, an additional profit center or an additional income generator for your established business. So if that's the case, then the budget that you're looking at will be your overall personal budget, where you'll list down all the different ways that you're making money, regular income, maybe if you're retired, you have some retirement income, Social Security or other items, or maybe you already have 2 jobs. So this new thing that you're doing would just be another additional profit center or income generator for you, which will make things different as you do in your overall plan. So the side hustle is a good thing because you have less stress, less startup cost. You've already got some customers established, contacts established, and therefore you have a lower cost of doing business, which we'll refer to as CODB, cost of doing business in the future. Well, we've got a good group of folks coming on board. Thank you, Mary Ho and DeShira. Glad to have y'all on board as well. So I've got a word of caution though. If you're all excited about starting a new side hustle, you need to be careful that you're not going to spend so much time getting this new business started that you take away from what you are depending on before. So be careful not to give up something that's really good that you're working on in order to start something else. Sometimes that greener pasture is not as green as it looks like once you get over there. So always keep your guard up, protect your guaranteed income, protect your benefits, and start your new business, your side hustle, in a good balance that you're not going to be giving up something that's really good and important to you and taking more risk than you have to. Now, this is an old grandpa talking to you, because I've seen folks approach this a lot of different ways, and it can be quite interesting. As you're starting down the road towards a new business, and I do this with every profit center that I start in my regular business selling implements, there's always something new coming out. Always some of my old products have lost interest in the market. So I'm always dealing with how to bring in a new profit center into my business and planning out the strategies to make sure it works. And I've learned that if I'll go ahead and write down what needs to happen on certain days for this new profit center to work out, that's a good idea. If you're starting your new business, let's look down the road and see the different things you need to do. So I'm going to give you a 6-month free planner, and I'll send you a copy of this in the email that Greg's sending to you, that I send to you, so that you can take it. It's in a Word file form, so you'll be able to take that and put it right on your computer, take out the things that don't apply to what you're doing and type in the things that do, so that you'll have a pre-planner, a 6-month pre-planner, to make sure you're covering all your bases. So let's just take a look at that and see what's going on. I've got it dated here February the 15th, so that's pretty close to where we are, and looking 6 months down the road. So if we're just getting started now, the first things I'm going to suggest that you do is to come up with the different products and services that you plan to offer. You can't do your budget and you can't do your business plan until you have a good idea what you're going to be offering for people to buy from you, so that then we can take it to the next step in estimating how much money that'll generate. Think about what you do know now and what you don't know. Do you have all the information you need about product knowledge and marketing and things like that? And what are the critical areas that you feel like you need some more schooling on, so to speak, some more enhancing of your business skills? And we're all into that at the small business centers, and in my presentations, it's all about how to enhance your skills and to help you learn new strategies. So think about what you really need to learn, and then start attending the classes or doing the reading or talking to the people to help you build up your skill level. The higher the skill levels you have, the better chance you'll have to make it as an entrepreneur. Now, we now also need to think about not only the menu of products and services you offer, but also let's put some prices out beside them. What do you think the general range that you'll be able to sell these items for? What kind of income can you generate, and how many of each item will you need to sell to end up with making the profit that you want to do? I'll mention here that we have seminars coming up, or webinars coming up that Greg's sponsoring to help you learn how to price your products. Now, that's kind of what you need to do during the first month. Second month, say over in March, I want you to think about creating a list of your target customer groups. Which customers, type customers, group of customers, niche market customers will probably be your best chance to make sales right away. And where are they located? You want to do this so we can build a marketing plan. As you start sending out your marketing information, that you're targeting the right customer groups, and therefore you won't waste a lot of marketing money and time. Let's think about what your startup costs are going to be. How much money do you need to invest now? How much have you already invested? And how much are you going to invest before your business is up and running? That startup cost total will be an important part of your budget as well as your business plan. So you don't need to make that list and to make it happen. Whatever you think they are, as you get into it and learn more, that cost is going to go up. The good news is these are just one-time expenses. At least once you get up and running and those items are satisfied in your budget, you won't have to deal with them again. But right now, we need to know what they are. In your third month, you need to think about your banking and how you're going to handle your money. Money coming in, and are you going to be borrowing some money to help get your business started? But you'll want to secure a banking relationship. And if you're going to be a bank, have a business account, I'll just tell you right now, that means you're going to have to do some other things to qualify to get your business account. Like having an EIN number, a business social security number, you might call it. That'll be required to get your banking established. So we'll help you get along there and make that happen. If you don't have a standalone business, that is a bricks and mortar business, a storefront, time to start thinking about that and securing the location and maybe checking out what your insurance costs are going to be there. Third month is get a marketing plan started, a structured plan and a budget. Marketing is making an investment that you get a return on the investment. But if you don't make any investment in your marketing plan, I will assure you, you probably won't get a return on it. So we'll help you do that and give you the information to make it happen. How are you at negotiating, forecasting, business forecasting, and understanding what you need to do to make that happen for now and for the future? We all have heard the term, you can't sell from an empty basket. In other words, if you don't have anything, you don't have anything to sell. So, but still, we don't want to overload ourselves with inventory and such as that. So let's think about negotiating so we get the best prices, negotiating so we know best about how to work with customers to end up with the most profit that we can, and how to figure out how much we need to order now to have it when we need to sell it. Those are real important factors. On every line in here, we have a webinar that you can attend to help give you more and more information on that. So maybe you'll want to plan to attend some more webinars. So next, we're going to look at getting our, in our fourth month, we're going to start planning our marketing. Usually it takes 3 to 4 months to get a good marketing plan in place before you actually send out the first bit of information. But you'll need to be thinking about that. Are you going to need some special tools or some furniture and fixtures? Need to put that on our list and make sure we have it. In your business, are you going to be dealing with government that's going to require certain codes or license or tax numbers? Let's get that in place and make a list of them. So you can see we're putting together a pretty long to-do list here to make all this happen. Now, if we're planning on opening in 6 months and in our 5th month, we need to start buying that inventory or making that jewelry paisley or having enough inventory that we can take good pictures or show people and start pricing it out and getting it out there to do it. If we don't have people to help us sell, we need to train our staff or to start training ourselves in presentations and negotiating so we can do that. And now we're getting close to wanting really to have our business established. So let's do a little business. Let's have what we like to call a soft opening to test everything, make sure we understand what's happening, that it's easy for our customers to do business with us. And we kind of test everything out. So we're ready for our grand opening in about 6 months over in July. Let's get this thing up and running. So that's just, that's not the end of the road. That's just the very beginning of the road. That's step one in a long path of a lot of steps, no doubt. But now, here's what I tell you. that while you've done all these things and it's really important, the real work starts now, and that is learning to work with our customers, learning how to follow up and getting our contact information and start building a database so we can stay in touch with them, and knowing how to create RFCs, raving fan customers, because the raving fan customer will help keep you in business for a lot of years. They'll keep coming back to see you. The raving fan customer is the one that goes out in the public and brags on you and encourages other folks to come and do business with you. So they will always be an important part of your staying in business planner. So give this serious consideration for your own. Take this document I'm sharing with you, put it in your Word file system, rearrange it to suit your needs, and then that's going to give you a calendar to help you stay on track and know how well you're coming along. That's what it's all about. So next, I want to tell you that people have run just as fast as they can away from doing a business plan because they felt like it was too complicated or just didn't want to do it. So today, I want to assure you that is not the case and give you a template that you can use, and you can take this and print it off, write a pencil in or handwrite in or type it in and put your own business plan together in just a couple, 3 hours to give you a good start. Now, you're going to have to work a little bit harder on that for the budget part of your business plan, but the rest of it you can do quite well. And this is even good enough for you to start if you need a loan application. Now, this is the first time that I've offered this in my presentations related to budgeting and business plans. But I feel like that we have just been making it too complicated for folks doing their startup business. So I wanted to give you a good working tool here to make it work. So you can take your statements that we're going to look at here, like the slides on the screen, and fill in very short, concise statements and fill in the blanks, basically, to get your business plan started. Of course, you know, name your business, put your name on there. And for right now, maybe you're just not quite sure. So just put in imaginary or doing business as. Come up with a name that you think may work because everything on this sheet can be changed and probably will be before it's over with. But you need a document to help you feel like that you're making progress. In the first page, basically tell about your products and the solutions like we talked about in the planner. What are you bringing to the market? What region do you think your customers are going to be in? Is it going to be right in Greensboro or Greenville or in Kinston, or maybe from Kinston and New Bern area, or maybe all of Eastern North Carolina? Just a few statements on where you're planning on selling. And then let's talk about your customers. Who do you think your best groups of customers will be that'll be buying from you? Just a couple of sentences there will be just fine. And then it's really important now, and this first time I'm going to mention this, but it's going to get more important as you go along. What are your primary marketing seasons? What times of the year will you feel like you're going to be the busiest? And if you've got several different types of products that I hope you do have, what products are going to be selling in the winter, in the spring, in the summer, in the fall, and in the holiday seasons? You want to know that businesses go up and down all year long with certain seasons. Some are different than others. Think ahead right now and do your forecasting on how will the seasons affect your business, because that's going to have everything to do with how you forecast what your monetary needs are going to be, your inventory needs, and such as that. Also, let's go ahead and talk about in your business plan, what is your best guess on when you're going to have a grand opening, your opening date of your business. In the next page, talk about the tools and the resources, the money that you'll probably need to get started. That gets right back to for our budget needs, and that what is the startup funds that you're going to need. and tell a little bit about anything that you list down on that line. Talk about how it's going to be used and why you need it. Very simple statements. You don't have to go into depth. Now next, I want you to list down, and you'll want to list down your different marketable profit centers. A marketable profit center is a thing that you're doing, something that you're selling that's going to generate money for you. Marketable means is something that you can market it separately. So marketing it separately means that you can go to different customer groups and market it under different DBAs. So you list down their different profit centers in your business. I want you to have at least five, and there's 3 different types, and at least one each of the different types. So just in a ballpark general estimate, you'll estimate what your revenues are probably going to be, and you'll estimate what you expect your expenses to be during the first ever how many months. It's good to start out with 6 months. Very good to start out with 6. Then tell how much you've actually invested in the business to date, how much you have on hand ready to invest, and if you plan on borrowing some money, how much that will be. Just, you don't have to be too intensive with saying, I need this amount of money for this and this amount of money for that and such as that. Just deal in round figures here. There's no reason to do anything else because you're dealing with estimates. Anyone that's reading this knows that, so that's close enough. You don't need to go into great detail. That's what our budget is all about. There was budgeting 101 is going to teach us how to get into the details because it's important that you do at some point. Then you'll wrap it up. You can wrap your business plan up by putting your signature and date on it. And now what are we going to attach to it? We don't need to end up attaching a startup budget, which we'll get into now. And also you'll want to attach your financial statement if you're going to a lending institution, so that they'll be able to see what your assets are and your liabilities and your basic net worth. So that's the basic plan that you would want to go with to get your business plan up and running very quickly, very easily, and to feel like you're making the progress that you need, and everything else to fall into place after this. Remember, a business budget and a business plan is written, and then it's rewritten and rewritten and rewritten as you go along. So this is hopefully this will give you a lot of good help, and we'll be sending you copies of all this. So now we're going to talk about the budgeting using models. And I hope you enjoy this and consider it a good way to go. The tools that you're going to need to do your budget is, first of all, a good understanding that there's 3 types of marketable profit centers. And I want you to have at least 5 to have a sustainable business. I want you to understand the importance of upsells, because upsells is a major way that you're going to be able to stack your profits in your business. And the way you have more upsells is to have more marketable profit centers. That's going to create more cash flow. And it's also going to give you enough cash flow to help you have a marketable budget. You know, list down your profit centers, and then we're going to create a model for each one. And a model is just basically a mini budget, so to speak, for each of the different income generators we're going to have. I like to kind of refer to them as these models will be just like little Lego blocks, building blocks, that we're going to snap them together. And when we put them together, we'll end up with knowing how our business budget looks, and down the road, do the same thing as you're putting together your business plan. So let's just look at an example here on your screen. Hopefully all of you can see the slides. If you can't, when I email you a copy and a link to the video tomorrow, you'll be able to see it. But you'll have models over on the left here, which are indicating income, and then you'll have models over on the right-hand side that indicate your expenses. And there'll be different types of expenses, just like there'll be different types of income. And you'll have income from your actual profit centers. You may have income from money that you're borrowing or giving to your business. And you'll have possible income from other areas, so you'll list those down. Now, I did this one kind of for fun, the one that's on the screen, because if you'll notice all the income items over on the left-hand side from new customers and from package deals or big ticket sales, we had $82,600 worth of income in this plan. But when we look over at our expenses, we got debt payments and insurance premiums and payroll and other expenses came up to $136,900. Wow, we're going to spend $54,000 that we haven't made, aren't we? Yeah. So when you start to putting together your budget, then that's going to bring it home to you really soon on we need to make some changes, because all of us want to have a budget that's got black ink at the bottom showing that we're bringing in more money than we're taking out. But the fact of the matter is, if you're using borrowed money and you're spending your startup cost and you're buying inventory during the first couple of months, there's no way you're going to be able to make all that back. So a budget has to progress. You know, we're going to guess right now what's going to happen in the next 6 months. But at the end of 6 months, we'll be able to make our changes here and refine it and make the changes we need. But know right now that as you're first getting started, your budget's not going to be very pretty. Your estimates will start looking better as you go along, but we want to use realistic estimates. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. We're using our models, expense models on one side, income models on the other. Your actual budget will look like this, and you'll have your numbers plugged into it. This also, after you make your refining after a few months, you'll be able to take these same lines and it will become your business plan or the revenue part of your business plan. You'll list down the different profit centers, the different ways you're going to make money, and these profit centers are designed to bring in new customers or increase daily traffic. Maybe it's profit centers that are for repeat business or continuous business. Maybe you've got some profit centers that are helping generate big ticket sales. They would need to be listed down with the amount of income that they're going to generate for you. Then we'll be able to list the different models that we've done for our different types of expenses, from staffing or marketing, lots of different items, utilities, transportation. Every business is going to be a little different, and we'll have different expense models. But you'll have a basic plain sheet of paper with all these lines on it, and then all you have to do is just plug in the figures as you go along. So people that are selling products and folks that are selling services. Yeah, they're businesses, but there's two different businesses altogether. Or you might have some businesses that are selling products and services. I had tractor dealerships, and we sold lots of products, but also we had service department, maintenance departments, and leasing departments. So we had a lot of services too. Each different type of business will require some different types of planning and as you do your model. So let's talk about, first of all, we'll try to use some examples as if you're selling products, okay? And this is doing the models. For every profit center you have, you're going to have a different model or a set of figures and kind of a mini budget for the different profit centers. And you'll list down what each item will sell for, how many different units you plan on selling, and therefore during the first, say, 6 months, what your revenues will be for that particular product. And then right under that, we're going to do our same estimates on our cost, our unit cost sales, and what our total estimate for expenses will be. So Paisley, if you don't mind me using you as an example, on making jewelry, you'll have 5 different types of jewelry you're going to be making. I'm just playing along here, role modeling. And one type of jewelry will cost, say, in the $40 range. And therefore, if you want to make $400 income from that, then you know that you're going to need to make 10 of them. And you'll estimate what your unit cost will be and time cost and your estimated expenses to sell those 40 items, and then we'll have what's left. So with that particular profit center, it's going to, with a little bit of numbers and guessing, estimating, we'll come up with what to plug into our business budget for that particular type of model to generate income. So we'll look at our revenues and our expenses and determine what's left. What will we call this what's left number? Let's not call it profit, let's call it margin. Because we don't want to start using the word profit until we get to our final business plan or final budget to see what's left. Right now we're looking at just a margin that this one profit center would generate for you. So I want to give you an example of how this would actually work out. Let's say, Danita, that you're thinking about selling used cars, pre-owned cars. That's thinking about what your business may be. And that's a good business to get into. There are a lot of them around, and a lot of them do real well and stay in business for lots and lots of years. You've seen it right in your community. So let's use this for an example because it's a good example of how a lot of different businesses work. The person that's getting in the used car business, the first place they would be going would be to an auction. And there's auctions all over the state, some big and small. So you would go to your auction, and that's represented by the people over on the left-hand side of the picture. And the folks over on the right-hand side are the auctioneers, and they'll roll these cars by the buyers, and the buyers bid on them and buy the ones they want to buy. There's a couple of TV shows on cable TV of the large auctions selling really expensive cars. If you have an interest in that, it's a good idea to watch that to see how the process works. They're dealing with big numbers. We're dealing with smaller numbers here. But that's the first place you would go. You go to the auction, you buy you some used cars, bring them back home, put up some flags and signs, and I'm in business. Let's make it happen. So let me tell you that in used car dealerships all over the country, the most popular used car that's being sold sells for about $6,000. $6,000, not $60,000, not $160,000, but the most popular car being sold in America today is a $6,000 car. That's for the people that are buying their startup cars or buying cars for their kids as they come to age, or a second car to leave it somewhere as an emergency. Anyway, that $6,000 car is the one that's very, very popular. And if you've got a used car lot, and it's a good, busy lot that's well marketed, you'll probably sell quite a few of these. About 15 of those a month would be a good target goal. And therefore, we're basing this on 6 months. In 6 months, you'd sell 90 of them and generate $540,000. $140,000, that's a lot of money, isn't it? Well, this is going to show you that even a small business can generate some big, big bucks. So to generate $540,000. Now, the rest of the story is the used car dealers are going to go to that auction, and they're not going to spend but $4,000 on a car they're planning on selling for $6,000. So they're sitting there, they'll let a lot of cars go by, but when the one comes along they think they can buy for $4,000 and sell for $6,000, that's the ones they buy. It's not based on how pretty they are or what year model it is. It's how much money can they make on it. Therefore, experience has a lot to do with it. Endurance and staying with the game long enough to know the little things. But they'll buy a $4,000 car, and when they do that and they sell 90 of them over a 6-month period, they will have spent $360,000 on the cars that they're going to sell for $540,000. Each one of you right now, I want you to be thinking, I'm going to sell X number of whatever it is you're selling and probably generate about this amount of money. And to do that, I will spend X amount of money, and here's what I'll have left, and that'll be my margin. That is budgeting. Estimating what your expenses are going to be and your revenues and doing that. Because if you're going to be spending $360,000, right now you know that you're going to have to come up with X amount of money to get this ball rolling. Maybe not all at one time. This was over a 6-month period, right? So give that some thought. This is what your budgeting process is all about. So they're going to end up with $180,000 margin after selling these 90 cars. But that margin is just for that group of cars that sell for $6,000. The rest of the story is the used car dealer will also have a model for cars that sell for $10,000. They'll have a model for cars that sell for 15 or 20 or even more. They'll have a model for pickup trucks, sports cars, boats, trailers, tractors. So we'll have models for the different types of things that we're selling, and have the levels to help us know how many of certain things we need to sell to generate enough revenues to keep our business going. That is product sales budgeting. So think about that. Now, maybe what you are selling, you don't see how to fit it into this particular product sales. Don't hesitate to send me a note, send me an email, tell me the type of items that you're thinking about selling, and I'll be glad to help you work through in any way I can to get your models created so you can put your budget and your business plan together. Okay? Now, not selling products, actually not selling time. Maybe I'm going to work for commissions. Maybe I'm going to be paid in something different. But 90% of the time, people are either selling products or time. So now I'm going to focus on time. Let's see how that works out. Who are the people that are selling time for money? Lawyers, accountants, people doing pressure washing, housekeepers, teachers, webinar givers, folks who work selling time for money, depending on what it is. And maybe in your business, you'll have some folks that are selling time for money and some that are selling products. That's why it's important that we know the difference. But if your business is one, let's say you're a virtual accountant helping folks with their accounting, a housekeeper, I want you to base your business budget and your business plan on working 4 days a week, 4 weeks a month. So that means your monthly business budget would be based on 16 days. So automatically you can see we're going to narrow this thing down to make it easier to figure out. If you're working 4 days a week, that means there's 3 other days that you can, number one, go to church, have a life. Number 2, take care of your other businesses, grow business, visit with customers. Number 3, make up for rain days, make up for extra appointments that you have opportunity to do. Be flexible, because we always want to be flexible, right? Okay, so 4 days a week, 4 weeks a month, 16 days a month. Let's look at what that budget would look like. So you may use different days depending on what's happening in your life, but for my purposes today, we're going to say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, times 4 for the month. So these 16 dots, these 16 spaces is when we're going to make our budget, when we're going to make the money that we are planning on making in our business. So that's how it will start out. And when you're selling time for money, your most important tool is your calendar, because that is the basis of your cash flow and the success of your business. I'm going to say now that we can use as a guide, let's say that your goal is to generate $2,400 a week. $2,400 a week is your goal. And if you're working 4 days a week, that automatically tells us that you need to generate $600 a day. So when we look back at each one of these 16 days, there needs to be a $600 goal for each day. Whatever your goal is, you want to have a goal for each day that you're going to generate, okay? So maybe we're going to be doing things that will generate different amounts of money for the different profit centers that we're offering. And let's say we've got profit centers that generally, when we sell them, bring us in $50, or when we deliver that service, some will generate $100, some will generate $150, $300 maybe, depending on what we're doing. So we're going to look at our calendar with the perspective of, I want to bring in my appointments. I want to do my appointments in such a way that at the end of the day, that I've generated $600 a day. And therefore, I will schedule my appointments depending on how much income they'll generate to achieve that goal. Achieving the goal is very, very important. Let me use an example of the dentist office. If you've had a dentist appointment anytime recently, when you set up that appointment, you probably had to set it up pretty way in advance. And you got phone call after phone call and text after text from the office manager to make sure that you were in that seat that day at that time. And the reason they're so interested in getting you there on that certain date is because each day at that office, they need to generate X amount of money. And some people coming in may be bringing a deal that's going to cost them $600 that day. And other people coming in might not be generating but $50 for their visit. So you'll see the management of your business plan and your calendar is to always have a focus on what's your daily income going to be, because to keep your business sustainable, to help you maintain your money coming in to buy groceries and buy rent and pay rent, you need X amount of money per week. So this type of plan brings in $2,400. Some weeks you might be able to bring in more, some less, but you always need to have your target in mind. So let's say that each day is generating $600, and over a period of 6 months, that will generate $57,600. Now I'm giving you these general numbers so you'll be able to take your goals, what you're thinking you can do, and see how you can multiply them out to give you a good picture of what you can generate in 6 months or more. This particular situation, we're saying that our estimating our daily expenses at $200. Therefore, we'll be spending $19,200 while we're bringing in $57,600. What's left? $38,400. Margin, not profit, margin, because we had other items going on that were taking money away from us in our business models, like insurance, telephones, transportation, rent, taxes, on and on. So right now we're just saying that this business model will generate $38,400 margin, which will be contributed over to our budget and business plan in the form of one of these boxes, like we talked about earlier, okay? Each one of those plans. So now let's say you've got another type profit center that you're going to be offering time for money in that will generate different amounts of money, and you'll do those on different days. Maybe you'll take one or two of these other days that you didn't plug in otherwise and apply that type of business to come up with a different model for that type of services you're going to be providing. But at any rate, we're always going to come back and plug in these different blocks here so that we can see the overall income estimate and the overall expense estimate. Any questions so far?
No. No.
All right, that's good. Anyone else? Don't hesitate to ask, okay? I hope I'm laying it out here in such a way you can absorb it. And there'll be different types of things coming up with different types of businesses. And giving you an example, matter of fact, you could take this and start plugging in, just writing with a pencil with an eraser what your estimates are. The key thing is here, I want to motivate you to understand it needs to be structured. To move forward with your new business, you need to have a structured budget, which will automatically transmit over to a structured business plan for different areas that you're going to need to be doing this and that for. So, wrapping up in this part of the presentation is, what are things that are easily forgotten or mistakes that we make when we're putting together our budgets, when we're putting together our business plans? We always got to remember that taxes are going to play in. You're going to be, number one, paying taxes. So, in Harnett County, that's another 7%. In some counties, it might be as high as 12%. For different things that you're buying, you always want to make a note of that. Always make a note for your taxes. So if you are making notes there at your desk, just put that down. That's something easy to forget. Interest payments are easy to forget as well. You know, write down the number that something's going to cost you, but then you're saying, well, I'm going to buy this on my credit card or use my credit line to do this. And you might have bought something that cost you $200, but if you pay for it over a period of months, the cost of actually owning that might be a lot more per month than you had planned. So always make that allowance there to figure in that you probably don't have to be paying some interest if you're using borrowed money. Insurance payments are easy to forget as well. I'm just amazed at how many insurance premium payments I get here. We got the life insurance, we got business insurance, we got our property insurance for our buildings, we got our automobile insurance, plenty of different insurances around. So you want to make sure that while you're doing your planning and your budgeting, that you take all this into consideration and plug those into your model so that you're not caught by surprise later on. I will mention right now that as you're starting your new business, and if you're going into debt or you want to build some security for yourself or your family, buying life insurance policies and disability policies with your company funds is a good way to give you that protection and security with before tax dollars, which means that it's a better way to buy lots of insurances through your company than it is purchasing them yourself with after-tax dollars. Some of these different types of insurance can help you save some money through the years, but definitely give you some a benefit of security. Life insurance policies, when you're buying those, they come in a lot of different ways, but there is a type of policy called a whole life policy, like the whole apple, the whole shebang. And a whole life policy builds cash value. So as you make your monthly payments, you're building up cash value in that policy, usually about half, or maybe just less than that, but that does build up. And over a long period of time, you keep a policy in place for 20 years, you'd have several thousands of dollars in cash value there. That, number one, you can cash it in and take it. Number two, you can borrow on it. Or number three, you can use it as collateral. So whole life policies can bring in a lot of benefits for you. Other type policies usually cost you less per month, but you don't have the extra benefits. So some folks that are young and just getting started, maybe just getting started with your families as well, it's not a bad idea to spend a little time with an independent insurance agent and learn that, enhance your information about insurance policies. Not putting money aside is a big deal. Part of your business planning and your budget should be a savings account. A budget know going into your business that you want to start budgeting and putting some money aside. Now, as I said earlier, maybe this side hustle is not a full-time business for you. Maybe it's a part-time business, as several of you have indicated. So as you're starting this new business and you're going to start seeing new revenues coming in, this is the perfect time for you to take some of these new revenues that you hadn't had before and start a savings account. Start a different account for a rainy day to help you see it through when you need to. Not necessarily for bad times, because having reserved monies will help you take advantage of good deals that come along. In the selling business, you have to buy right to be able to sell right. And sometimes that means you take advantage of something when it comes up, because it may be short-lived and you're not going to get but one shot at it. So it's good to have that. If you're not seeing the available cash or revenues that you can put green money in the bank or the safety deposit box, then think about at least setting up some credit lines. That is, as you're establishing more business, take this new revenue that you're getting, you're going to set up a business account, do it with a new bank, and as soon as you get established in that account, then you can go maybe establish a credit line based on that account, or get credit cards based on those accounts, so that you can have some rainy day or reserve options in case you need some money in a hurry or something goes wrong in a hurry, to keep you from going out of business because you can't meet the financial needs, or keep you from having to borrow from folks that you don't really want to borrow from. Everything is not going to be perfect. I will assure you that our very best plans sometimes go astray, and we need to know that I have to be flexible. I have to be ready to move here or there, or to put things back together sometimes. So know that planning is important. So as you're moving through your budgeting process and you're seeing how things are fitting together and it just doesn't seem to be working for you, let me tell you, that's not new. Everyone has gone through this, and let me encourage you to work through it and get to a point where you put down the things you understand, but there's a lot that you don't, and then ask for an opinion, ask for help. Ask Craig or the Small Business Center director near you. Say, this is what I've got so far. I just don't know where to go from here. And I'll assure you right now, I'm available for you to send me an email, tell me what's on your mind, and I'll be glad to help you work through it. Everything confidential, and that's very, very important. Get good advice. Don't give up, okay? That is really, really important. Your success is our goal in doing this work for you. Your sustainability is what we want for you. So let me ask you, have you established your profit centers? What are you going to do in your business to help you generate money? And in this item, if you're selling service, how many hours or how many appointments each week are you going to be able to allot the time for? And number two, how much do you plan on charging for each one of your appointments or by the hour? When I know, or when you know, how many hours per week you're planning on giving to the business and how much you're going to charge for each hour, guess what? We're going to know probably what your generating income is going to be. But now we have to put in some other factors. As you're working on your budget, it's important to know that time that you spend that you're not billing is time that you're still needing money to pay your bills. So knowing that biscuit time and TV time and cleaning up time and looking after children time, all of those are important, and they are distractions away from helping you bill for your time, but you need to take them into account, because your goal for income for your business and or for yourself is that number that's down on the bottom of your budget, that where we said what's left. So if your goal is, let's say, $50,000, then we need to take that budget and have enough income being generated and have enough expenses coming out of it that what's left is going to be what your goal is. A lot of folks that get into your budget and your business plan and say, well, whatever it is what it is. I encourage you to not to go that way, but instead put your goal down at the bottom, and then let's build a budget, let's build a business plan that will help you achieve that goal. And as we get started in it, we can see that we're falling far short. So if we're falling far short of the income goal that we wanted, what can we do about it? What can you do about it? Number one, cut expenses. That's easy to say, isn't it? But number two, generally, is not this hard to do, but to add profit centers, add more ways to generate income. And the more ways that you can generate income, then the more customers you'll have to make those profits. We need to also remember, if you'll write this down, there's three important words. Three very important words in entrepreneurship, especially as you're just getting started. And those three words are by the way. By the way. By the way, because I want you to have a profit centers, items that you're selling, that when your customer buys one of them, then you're going to be able to say to them, and by the way, I've also got this, and by the way, I've also got that, and this, and that, to encourage the folks to complete their purchase, buy more products from you. You'll end up with a big ticket deal that gives you a lot more profits than that one thing maybe they started with. But our mindset has to be, this is an important thing for me to do, and I need to constantly remember to encourage the customers to do upsells. You'll see by having the additional profit centers that are linked together that encourages you to be able to say, and by the way, things will just go really, really well. You will make items that complement each other so that you can put a bundle together, a group of items together that maybe didn't sell for such large dollars by themselves, but when you bundle them together, it makes a very nice package for you to make money and for your customer buying from you, maybe to give as a gift or a basket. So very important for you. You're going to want to remember, as you're planning your budget, that it is so important that you plan now, while you're doing your budget, to have a database of email addresses and a database of telephone numbers, so that you can at any time, and without spending a lot of money and a lot of effort and a lot of time, send a message out, send an email out to your database of customers, reminding them that you have this for sale, or that you're doing this now, or there's a good reason for them to do business right now. The database is going to become a very important tool for you, because it will help you create more business right now. Kind of like if you go fishing and you want to catch a lot of fish, especially out in the ocean, if you follow three rules, you'll always be able to catch fish. Rule number one, keep fresh bait in the water. Rule number two, keep fresh bait in the water. And rule number three, keep fresh bait in the water. You may not catch exactly what you were hoping to catch, but you'll catch something. Well, now we're trying to catch customers. Same rules apply. Keep fresh promotions in front of them. Keep sending out continuous promotions. Let them know what's happening now. So if you follow certain structure rules as you're getting your new business started, you'll be able to have a good business, and it'll crank up and stay with you. Ask the questions that need to be asked. What are you selling? What do you need to know about it? what's going to make you be able to sell your products at the same money or maybe even more money than people that have been doing it for years? Why are customers going to do business with you? Well, your budgeting is going to have to plan that you have marketing money that you're planning on helping the customers find you. What's the best way for you to find customers? The answer is easy. You help them find you. And you do that by setting up your marketing campaign to bring those customers to you. So how do you go about getting started on that? Well, that's why I wanted to tell you about these other webinars you can learn and take it step by step by step. But I'll be glad to see any study guides and information on them right now, whether you attend the webinars or not. No charge to you whatsoever. But the combination of you reading the study guides and attending the webinars where we actually get into showing you how to apply things rather than just reading footnotes is very, very powerful. Now, through the years, this is my 14th year, and 1,100 presentations, I see folks come back to the webinars time after time again, so that you can take the information that you get and learn to apply it this time and the next time and see how it kind of all fits together. Like writing your budget is going to be super important, but understanding where to go and how to apply those numbers after you write that budget is even more important. So give that some consideration and don't hesitate to ask the questions or to make it happen. Well, thank you for joining us now for about an hour and a half. I want to turn the mics on and we'll chat as long as you'd like to, and we'll try to cover any questions that you might have about your particular business. On budgeting topic or anything else. I also invite you all to send me an email. I'm going to post that email address here again for you. Let's see if I can. There you go. I just posted it again in the chat board that you can send your questions or information to me. And if you live in an area that's not close to Kinston but would like for me to help put you in touch with a small business center near you, I'll certainly be glad to do it. Let me say to you that when you're being the best person you can be, you're generally going to be the best business person you can be as well. So let your light shine. Be proud of what you're trying to achieve as an entrepreneur. Be proud of yourself. Let your light shine. Let that warmth glow out and bring other people to you. Try to set your business up as one that is being a giver and not a taker. You'll do well with that as well. And let other people know that you care about them. It's not how much you know, it's how much you care. And that's what's going to count for basically everybody. Yes, this webinar is being recorded. And if I have your email address, I'll be glad to send it to you. Crystal, and the unknown on the board, and Kristen, I need for y'all to go into chat there, and Mario, if you would, type in your name and your email addresses. That way I'll be able to send the information to you. So, God bless you all. God bless your families and your new business. I hope that I'll see you in the future and have a chance to work for you. So you're welcome to turn your mics on and share any information that you might have. And Greg, if you have anything new going on at the center that you'd like to share, it's a good time to do it. Shelby, where are you located? Do you have your microphone working?
Hi, yes. I am so sorry. I was caught up with a client and I didn't get to hear the first part of the webinar, so that's why I wanted to ask if it was recorded, because I was really excited about getting to join in on it. But I'm actually located in Clayton.
That's fantastic. I was in Clayton yesterday and had a great afternoon meal at Manning's restaurant. Have you eaten at Manning's?
Oh, Manning's is so fantastic.
They really are. We live in Dunn. It's about an hour away from us, but it's worth the trip. Sure do. So maybe we meet there one day and break bread.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great.
Good. Well, thanks for joining
Definitely.
us today. I'll be glad to see that recording.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, my business opened up in September, so I'm still in I would say beginner stages. I feel like I'm breaking out of novice, but still at the beginning side of business ownership and my knowledge base.
You want to tell us what type of business you have?
Sure. So I'm a nurse practitioner, and I opened up a med spa here in Clayton.
Good for you. Good for you. What's the address?
So I'm here on Front Street, so actually only kind of a skip and a hop away from Manning's, which is nice for me.
That's great. Well, when I send information to you, I invite you and all the others as well. If you'll send the information to me about you and your business, I'll be glad to share it on our Academy of Entrepreneurs and Associates Facebook page, where all of us entrepreneurs try to help each other through networking and sending other customers to us. So look forward to working for you. Any other comments? Greg, are you still on board or listening, or do you have to step away?
I'm with you. I'm working as we're doing. I've got you on. Sounds like a terrific session, guys. I know there's some questions coming, Steve. I know there are, because I can almost hear their brains turning. And I'm glad that you addressed the service side also, not just sales. Would you say a little bit about nonprofits, just as an aside?
I'll be glad to. Lots of folks are interested in serving the community or certain needs that your community or the people in it have, and are more interested in giving products and services to folks in need of than they are in trying to sell items. So if that's the case, you're not planning on making profit on what you're selling, and that business might be classified as a nonprofit business. Those, if you meet the classification for being nonprofit, you get certain tax benefits from it, and because you are getting certain tax benefits, you have to follow certain rules and keep up with the criteria. But nonprofits are very valuable and important to the community, whether it's a church organization or scouts or a food bank or someone that's providing different types of individual services. The small business centers in the state of North Carolina will do all they can to help you establish your nonprofit, which means you'll need to put together a board of directors, fill out some information for tax statuses, and file certain types of reports. Of course,
from the budgeting side, the importance of budgeting, and I think the points that you made are the things that I was thinking about. Because you are, as a nonprofit, someone running a nonprofit, you are responsible to the community at large, pretty much, and you're using public funds. It's even more important that you be able to budget wisely. That's the point I was trying to get at.
I agree 100%, and thank you for towing me into your to where I need to be, because on the nonprofit budget, you're not going to have these margins of incomes from items that you're selling usually, or if you do, it's a small amount to base your budgeting, and hence getting grants and how many grants that you're going to need and what they total becomes just a very important critical factor in putting your nonprofit budget together. Hence,
the amount that you're asking for in the grant, you have to display in your budget. You have to come back to that number. That's, I think, that's where I wanted to go with that. I don't think anybody in here is on the nonprofit, but I thought it's a good point to make that for-profit you can be forgiven pretty much if your budget's off a little bit because you're the one that you report to. But for a nonprofit, you report to somebody else, so you want to be spot on. I didn't interrupt your presentation.
Well, really, Greg, I appreciate it because I need to add a whole section in there about nonprofits with the budgeting, because that's a great point that you bring up, and I failed to do that, but I will address it next time I make this presentation. Because when you're owning your own for-profit business, you can adjust your budget any way you want to as things come and go. But as Greg is helping us remember, if you are a nonprofit, you set that budget up, and by golly, you got to stay with it. So it's more important that you do it right, and usually more conservative as you're doing it as well. But being a nonprofit, I'll mention to you, doesn't mean that you can't take a salary or make money from it. As a matter of fact, there are some folks that run nonprofits that make really big bucks. It's just a matter of setting the books up different and different criteria. Any other questions? Well, we'll be sending you, I've got, for those that I have your email addresses, and to Greg, I'll send you a copy of the recording when we convert it to YouTube, and look forward to working for you in the future. So God bless you and take care, and I hope everybody has a great week.